Today's guest at the Chamber's Business Network is Mr. Tom Johnstone, CEO of the SKF Group. And the group had some very good results last year. Can you give us a short overview of SKF's current position?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good performance, as you say, last year. Good growth in our business. We grew by 16% in local currencies, took the profitability up. Our operating margin was at 14.5%. So overall, we strengthened our position as a group worldwide. We made good steps forward as well. We stepped up our investments in research and development by 20%. We put 30% more patents there. So a number of important steps we did last year, which I think is very, very good. Open new facilities. So it's a good year overall.
Yeah. Breaking many records.
Yeah, breaking many records. It was record sales, record operating profit for the group. But I've got to say also, as you went through the year, it was a year of two halves. The first half of the year was a much stronger economic environment, macroeconomic environment. The second half became somewhat quieter, and we saw some signs of slowdown in certain of our businesses. So it was a year of two halves, even if overall the year was an excellent year for SKF.
Okay, so what can you tell us about the outlook for 2012?
It's a pretty uncertain outlook, I must say, going into 2012. We see some areas going fantastically well. Take North America. North America, really quite broad-based, going very, very well for us in total. Latin America, somewhat better for us. Asia, a little bit up and down, I've got to say. You can see that there's some businesses struggling. Renewable energy in China, railway business in China has been struggling. But generally, Asia, I think, is in a slower growth mode. It's in growth, but a slower growth mode. And then, of course, West Europe. West Europe, there's a definite north-south divide there. And I think West Europe is going to be a tough start to this year. But we believe that as you go through the year, it will get better.
Okay, but it's quite different from just a couple of years back when you couldn't even spot the light at the end of the tunnel, but merely the tunnel itself, right?
Exactly. I was struggling to find the tunnel. Yeah, it's very different, but because if you go back to 2009, it was very broad-based geographically. You had all industries, all geographies struggling, you could really see. Whereas this time you can see a different picture depending on where you are in the world. And I think what's important is that you've got to be able to accelerate and brake at the same time. You've got to know where you are accelerating, where you're taking advantage of the opportunities, because there are opportunities, but also some areas where you've got to say, I need to cut a little bit here. And it's more challenging when you've got to brake and accelerate at the same time.
And the noble art of braking and accelerating is something that you should know, because you actually started out your career at SKF driving a van, isn't it right?
That's correct, absolutely, absolutely. And also motorsports is a big passion of mine as well. So yeah, I started as a delivery van driver with taking bearings to customers in the northeast of England. That was all of 35 years ago.
And it's not only 35 years ago somewhere in the vicinity, it's actually these very days that you're celebrating 35 years at SKF.
That's correct, absolutely. It's round about as we meet now, that 35 years at SKF, which I think is great. It's a great company.
So what would you say are your main tasks as a leader at SKF?
I see that as a leader you've got 5 tasks. First of all, you have to have a very clear vision where you're taking it, very clear targets, clear message. This is where we are, this is where we're going. Secondly, I spend a lot of time communicating that message internally, externally, with customers, but also with our own employees to understand the role they've got to play. Thirdly, my job is to create the environment for success. So it's easy to say, this is where we want to go, here's what we want to achieve, here's what you should do. What I've got to do is make sure that the right ingredients are in place to support that. That means the right investments, training, resources, etc. Fourthly, I've got to have good people round about me, and I'm very fortunate. I've got a great team in the group management of SKF, but also in the whole SKF organisation. And then fifthly, follow-up. Follow-up, you set the targets, set the objectives together, and then you've got to follow them up. So I see these 5 parts are my role as a leader.
You mentioned the importance of having a successful team, and SKF is indeed a knowledge engineering company based on knowledge. One of the topics that we are discussing right now within the networks of the Chamber of Commerce is creativity. How can you stimulate creativity within such a mature company such as SKF? You're celebrating 105 years now.
I think creativity is in the organisation. What you've got to do is unlock it a little bit, create the environment for it. We're doing that by pushing much more what we can do in innovation, in investing in more money in innovation, in investing in new techniques. I mean, just recently we ran our first jam in SKF, you know, an open jam where people could come up with their ideas in specific subjects from around the organisation. So we're trying to find new ways to keep unlocking that creativity, because I think it's out there, and what you've got to do is try and create the environment for it. We have put in place also for ideas which are somewhat different. We have an innovation board that I chair. So things that are different, that maybe are more risky, maybe more long term, that would not normally be done in the business, then there's another route for them to come up. They can come up to the board I chair with the division presidents, and we can sit and look at them and say, yeah, that's something we want to put some seed money into, to do things there. So we're trying to give different avenues to get the creativity. Can we do more? Absolutely, and we're trying to do more all the time, but I think we've got a reasonably good environment for that.
Okay. So SKF will continue to roll on in another 105 years.
That's our objective, absolutely, and hopefully roll not only on, but roll up as well.
Yeah. And even roll beyond zero. Absolutely.
Beyond zero is one of our clear initiatives, absolutely.
You also launched an initiative in 2010 to achieve business excellence. Can you give us some brief pointers on what does business excellence mean and how can you achieve it?
Sure. I mean, business excellence is about eliminating waste in your operations. No matter what you've ever been doing as a company, in every process you've got waste. You've got steps that are unnecessary, that don't add value to the customer and don't add value to yourself as an operation. So business excellence is how can we eliminate waste in our operations, but how can we do it not by giving a top-down message only, because many times people design a new process and say, let's implement it. It's a combination of the top-down vision, but also the bottom-up work. So we're trying to untap the potential of our people to say, okay, here's what we want to achieve. You know the job better than any of us can do sitting in an office. How would you do that? How would you do it better there? We've had very good success in manufacturing arena doing that. We called it manufacturing excellence to start with. And with that success, and really the enthusiasm that I see when I go around the organisation to it, with that success, we've said, why can't we do it more in our innovation process? Why can't we do it in our people management process? And that's what we're now doing.
Okay. So the final question. The audience today who is soon about to enter this building consists of members of the professional networks at the Chamber of Commerce. How important would you say that your own network has been throughout your career?
Networks are always important. Contacts with other people are important because you learn and you bounce off ideas from one another. So having contact with people, and it doesn't need to be outside the company in terms of a professional network. I get a lot of inspiration when I talk to customers, when I talk to our distributors, when I talk to our employees. So that type of networking and getting ideas from other people is very important. And it's important to keep in touch with reality when you're doing business. And you can do that by being in contact with people, getting their ideas and being open to their ideas. I think it's very important. As we always say, the good Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. We should use that in that proportion.
Yeah, I've been told that you're often spotted with a tray in your own canteen and sitting down with just about anybody within the organisation. Is that a good way to keep up your network?
Yeah, but that's normal. I mean, again, I say one thing that, you know, the title in a business card is exactly that. It's a title on a business card. Why shouldn't I pick up a tray and get my own food? I should do it the same as anyone else. And hopefully people then, you can have a dialogue. But not just here in Sweden. It's also going out. It's having a chance to sit with the people and understand with customers, with distributors, with suppliers, with their own people, what's happening in the business, what can we do to be better.
Okay, so the title is just a title. Go on networking. That's your advice to anyone in the audience today.
Absolutely. Keep networking. Keep taking ideas from other people and seeing how you can take these ideas, adapt them to your business and make your business better.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Tom Johnstone.
Thank you so much.